Om Sadashiva-Samarambham Shankaracharya-Madhyamam Asmadacharya-Paryantam Vande Guru-Paramparam. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karvavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So we are on verse number 12, where Sanjay is talking. Verse number 12, chapter 11 of the Bhagavad Gita. Sanjay is giving his version of the Vishwarupa. So we will chant. Divi Surya Sahasrasya
दिवि सूर्यसहस्रस्य
Aved Yugpad Uttitha
भवेद्युगपदुत्थिता
Yadi Bhasadashi Sasyad
यदि भासदृशी सा स्यात्
Asastasya Mahatmanaha.
भासस्तस्य महात्मनः
So Shankaracharya introduces this verse by saying, if one needs to talk about the brilliance of the Lord, what should be the example? Right? The sun itself cannot be the example. Even though sun is 93 million miles away from us, even then we cannot look at it straight. But that is only the sun, right? And there are thousands of suns in the universe which are brighter than our sun. And therefore Sanjay wants to give an example. So he says, Yadi Bhaha, if the brilliance, Sahasrasya Suryaha, of 1,000 suns, Divi Bhaved Utthitha, if were to rise up in the sky, and how not one after the other, Yogapat, simultaneously. So he's saying, supposing thousands of suns suddenly come up in the sky, what would be the brilliance? One sun itself you can't look at, but there are 1,000 suns. Remember that its light will be so strong that you won't be able to ever look at it. So simultaneously, suppose they emerge, what will the brilliance? That is the comparison for Vishwarupa Ishvara. So tasya mahatmanaha bhasaha sadrishi syat. That is the example. That light will be more or less like that of Vishwarupa Ishvaraha. So Atma here, Mahatmanaha means big, infinite body, huge body of the Lord. So that is what he's talking about over here. It doesn't mean that we are looking at Atma, Satchidananda Atma, we are not talking about. And then he says, Shankara says, even this is not an appropriate example. In his commentary, Shankara adds, even though Sanjay has said this is not an appropriate example because the idea being conveyed is not that it is the brilliance of the Lord is equal to the brilliance of 1,000 suns. The idea being conveyed is that the brilliance is so much, it cannot be described at all. Okay, now we look at verse number 13. We will chant. Tatraikastham jagatkritsnam
जगत्कृत्स्नम्
avibhaktamanekadha
भक्तमनेकधा
अपश्य देवदेवस्य
अपश्यद्देवदेवस्य
शरीरे पाण्डवस्तदा.
शरीरे पाण्डवस्तदा.
So these are all easy verses. Sanjay is just continuing with his description of what he is seeing. So he says, Kritsnam Jagat, the entire universe, Ekatstham Apashyat. I am seeing the whole world in one place. Ekastham Apashyat, in one place. And what is that one place? It is the body of the Lord. And what kind of body? Anekadha Ravi Bhaktam. Divided into many forms. There are planets, there are suns, there are solar systems, there are galaxies, there are planetary systems, and so on, right? Thousands of forms are there. And Shankara adds, Deva Pitra Manushyadi Bhedaihi. So he sees the gods, he sees the ancestors, Pitrus, and he sees human beings also. And he sees many types, Bhedaihi, many times of types of jivas he sees. So you can add whatever types, animals, rakshasas, yakshas, gandharvas, whatever you can think of. Everything is included in this body, which is the idea being conveyed. And Deva Devasya Sharire, in the body of the Lord, universal form, in Virat Ishvara, not in the finite Krishna Sariram. And Tada, when did he see? Tada means at the time when the Divya Chakshu was given, that is the time that Arjuna saw. Before the Divya Chakshu was given, the same world was a huge source of trouble for Arjuna. When Divya Chakshu was given, then the world became a blessing. It became a beautiful sight. So we will read the 14th verse. Tatasa vismayavishtah
सविस्मयाविष्टः
पृष्ठरोमा धनञ्जयः
हृष्टरोमा धनञ्जयः
प्रणम्य शिरसा देवम्
प्रणम्य शिरसा देवम्
कृताञ्जलिरभाषत
ताञ्जलिरभाषत
So tataha Shankara says means tam drishtva. Having seen that Vishwarupa Ishvara, Vismaya Vishtaha. So Vismayena Avishtaha. Vismaya means wonder. Avishtaha, overcome by. So Vismaya Vishtaha. Arjuna was overcome by wonder. And that wonder was so intense that it expressed at his physical level also. Rishta Romaha. You have seen this word before in the first chapter. What does it mean?
The goosebumps coming up.
The hair standing up, the goosebumps. And because of that, pranamya is prakarshena namanam karkritva. He did deep namaskara, very specific namaskara. How? Shirasa. He bowed his head and he did namaskara. Devam, to the Lord. And not only that, kritanjalihi. Kritanjalihi means bringing the hands together in Anjali Mudra, right? And Shankara in his commentary gives a very nice instruction. He says that you should join the hands in Namaskara, but the palms should be loose. You don't tighten up the palms. You keep the palms loose. Therefore, the palms should be loosely brought together in Namaskara, not tightly against each other. Abhashataha, he said. So this is the thing that Sanjaya has said. Now, verse number 15, we will chant here the meter changes. Arjuna Uvacha
Arjuna उवाच
Pashyami Devam Stava Devadehe
पश्यामि देवांस्तव देवदेः
Sarvam Tatha Bhuta Vishesha Sanghan
तथा भूतविशेषसङ्घान्
Manamisham Kamalasanastham
ब्रह्माणमीशं कमलासनस्थम्
Rishimsa Sarvanurgamsha Divyan.
ऋषींश्च सर्वानुरगांश्च दिव्यान्
So you can see the meter has changed from Anushtup to Trishtup. So Trishtup generally means that when a change in meter occurs, it is to indicate that there is something to be for which attention to be paid. There is something extraordinary happening, and this is what Arjuna is now seeing. What is extraordinary happening? he is able to see all the lokas, all the devas, etc. So he says, Deva, hey Arjuna, hey Krishna, O Lord, Tava Dehe, in your body, Pashyami, I experience. How does he experience? Shankara says, through all the five sense organs. Which means what? He is not just, Pashyami is normally with the eyes. But Shankara adds, Upalabhe, he experiences. And the idea of this word is to indicate that it is not just through the eyes that he is seeing, not like a movie, but he is seeing through all the sense organs. He is perceiving through all the five sense organs. That is not only seeing, he can hear the sounds, he can smell it, he can touch if he wants, everything is there. So he says, Sarvan Devan, I see all the gods, Tatha Bhuta Vishesha Sanghan, various groups of entities I see. And Shankara adds Thavara Jangamanam, which are moving and non-moving, right? With different forms. So you have 8-legged forms are there in the earth, 1,000 arms are there, tails are there, different shapes are there. We have jivas with 2 legs, 4 legs, 8 legs, 100 legs. 100-leg jiva is what?
Centipede.
Centipede.
And you have 1,000 legs also, millipede, right? So all these various types of jivas he sees, and Isham Brahmanam, I see the Lord Brahma also. And where is he? Kamala Sanastham. He is seated on the lotus. But here Shankara says, you look at this lotus and you think of it as Prithvi. So it can mean the entire Sthula Prapancha, or it can mean the earth also. So if you may have noticed the imagery we have of Lord Vishnu lying down, and then there is a lotus emerging from his navel. On the lotus, Lord Brahmaji sits, right? So in that imagery, we should know that Lord Vishnu represents the Samashti Karana Sharira, right? Normally, Lord Vishnu we take as Hiranyagarbha, Lord Brahmaji, but that is in this particular imagery where you see Lord Vishnu reclining, a lotus coming out of his navel, and on the lotus, Lord Brahmaji sits. You may have seen this somewhere. This is a different type of imagery where Lord Vishnu represents Samashti Karana Shariram, the universal causal body. The lotus coming out of him will represent what?
Samashti.
Samashti Sukshma Shariram. And Lord Brahmaji represents the reflected consciousness of that Samashti Sukshma Shariram. So Samashti Sukshma Pratibandha, it represents. So he sees all that. And Sarvam Rishims Cha, all the rishis he sees, and Divyan Urugan, all the divine serpents he sees, like there is Vasuki, who is associated with Lord Shiva, there is Ananta, associated with Lord Vishnu. So Urugan, it's another name. So you may remember that I put up in the announcements a name for a snake, which is, what was that? Padodara, that which moves on its stomach, right? Or that which has legs. The stomach are its legs. That's a snake. Here it's a different word, Urugan. Urugan means, Urusa means chest. So Urusa gachati iti Urugaha. That which moves on his chest is called Uruga. So in the earlier description, it was the stomach which was taken. Here it takes the chest. Either both ways, it means the snake has no legs and he sees all these. And Vishmaya, he sees the experience as wonderful. Why is he seeing the world as wonderful? Because he's looking at it from Ishvara Srishti, without your Ragadvesha. But when you look at it from Jiva Srishti, with Ragadvesha, with Kama Krodha, with Ahankara Mamakara, you will find that there is only chaos. No, you will find that only terrible the world looks. But when you look at the world from Ishvara Srishti, without your likes and dislikes, It's a wonderful place in spite of all the so-called troubles which are happening, wars happening, murders happening, killings happening. In spite of all that, if you look at it as the effect of karma only, then you are seeing it from Ishvara Srishti, without your personal likes and dislikes coming into place. And therefore, Arjuna has this Ishvara Darshanam, which is Ishvara Srishti, and he is wonderstruck. Now we look at verse number 16. Aneka bahudara netram
अनेकबाहूदरवक्त्रनेत्रम्
Pashyami tvam sarvatonantarupam
पश्यामि त्वां सर्वतोऽनन्तरूपम्
tam na madhyam na punastavadim
नान्तं
नान्तं न मध्यं न पुनस्तवादिम्
Pashyami vishveshvara vishvarupa
पश्यामि विश्वेश्वर विश्वरूप
So the idea pointed out here is that Vishwarupa Darshanam is nothing, is not an extraordinary vision, right? It is only a change in my attitude towards the creation. And that is being pointed out here. Aneka bahu, aneka udaram, aneka vaktram, aneka netram. Many, many hands, many, many stomachs, many, many mouths, and many, many eyes, right? It doesn't mean that he is seeing one entity with all these. He is seeing all the jivas. And the idea being conveyed is that everyone, everything in the universe is part of Virat Ishvara. All the hands of all the jivas, they are the hands of Ishvara. All the mouths are the mouths of Ishvara. All the eyes are the eyes of Ishvara. So he says, Pashyami Tvam Sarvataha Ananta Rupam. I see you in many, many, many forms. Nantam na madhyam na tava adim pashyami. Na antam, I can't see your end. Na madhyam, I cannot see your middle. Na adihi, I cannot see your beginning also. Punastavadim pashyami he Ishvaraha. Right? So this Ishvara I am seeing is something I cannot understand at all. Because remember the derivation of the term Vishwarupam. The derivation itself means that entity who has the universe for his body. Vishwarupa Ishvara. So we will continue. Verse number 17. Kiritinam Gadinam Chakrinam Cha
किरीटिनं गदिनं चक्रिणं च
Jorashim Sarvato Diptimantam
तेजोराशिं सर्वतो दीप्तिमन्तम्
Pashyami Tvam Durniriksyam Samantat
पश्यामि त्वां दुर्निरीक्ष्यं समन्तात्
Diptanalarka Utimam Prameyam
दीप्तनलार्कद्युतिमप्रमेयम्
So Keritanam. Many, many crowns I am seeing, many, many kings wearing crowns. And Gadinam, the Gadhas, the mace, many, many maces I am seeing. And Chakranam Cha, Sudarshanam Chakram which you have, I am seeing. So Vishnu has 4 hands. In 2 hands he has weapons. The third one offers protection to people who surrender. And the fourth one does what?
Wishes.
That's called Shankha. So is it for enlightening?
Fourth one points towards his feet. Have a look at Vishnu's, what they call imagery anywhere. In 2 hands his weapons. One is Sudarshan Chakra, one is a mace. The third one is raised in protection. And to get the protection, the fourth one points towards his feet, indicating that surrender is required for the protection. Okay, so that is the Chakrinam. And Tejo Rashim, the light from, the brilliance from millions of stars are there. Sarvato Diptimantam, shining in all directions. Right? Remember that the word direction is meaningless when we talk about the universe. Why?
Because it's everywhere. Omniscience.
There is no start and there is no end.
No. Because when you talk about east, west, north, south, you are keeping the sun as a reference point. Right? Hypothetically, supposing you are standing on the sun, where is the east? And if there is no east, there is no west, there is no south, there is no north. None of the directions exist at all. And that's what he's saying here. Sarvato, in Vishwarupa, Ishvara, there are no such things called directions. These 10 directions, they don't exist. And Durnirikshyam Samantat, your brilliance is so dazzling that it is difficult, it's not possible to see. Right? Now, we of course would not think anymore. Durnirikshyam means difficult to see. But commentators point out, Durnirikshyam means which cannot be seen. And therefore there is a problem. How can you see that which cannot be seen? Okay, these are commentators' viewpoints. So Anandagiri in his Tika, he answers this question by saying that difficult to see means there is a adhikari vedaha. There is a difference in the eligibility criteria. The person who can see, who is an adhikari, he can see. The person who is not adhikari, he cannot see. That is why Durnirikshyam. That is why I saying, I can see that which cannot normally be seen. Arjuna is normally not an adhikari. But here, because of his Divya Chakshu, he has got temporary adhikari status. And that is why he sees. Right? The idea is here to show you that Vishwarupa Ishvara is there everywhere. And that is the reason you will find that in our culture, we have temples in all sort of places which are unreachable, bound by snow, bound in the mountains, top of the mountains. They are reachable only few months in a year, all these things. But what we are asking is, why do you need to go there to see Ishvara? Why not go to Chandani Chowk or Bindi Bazaar? You should be able to see Ishvara everywhere. The purpose of this chapter is therefore to change my vision, to see nature itself as Ishvara. Then he says, Deepanalarkat Motimam Prameyam. So, Deepta Analaha first. Deepta Analaha, the breakup of the word. Deepta Analaha Arka Dyuti Aprameyam. That one long word is broken into these words. Dipta, Anal, Arka, Dyuti, Aprameyam. So Dipta Anala means blazing fire. Arka means sun. Dyuti means effulgence. Arka Dyuti means brilliance of the sun. So that Vishwarupa's effulgence, brilliance is like that of the blazing fire or like that of the sun. And Aprameyam. Aprameyam is, the normal meaning of Aprameyam is what?
Incomparable.
What cannot be known.
Normal meaning of Aprameyam means that which cannot be known as an object using any pramana. Right? Pramanam, pramata, pramanam, prameyam. Prameyam is the object which is known. Aprameyam means that which cannot be known. Right? Now here, can you take that meaning? Aprameyam, that which cannot be known?
It can't be quantified.
No, we can't take it
You can't take it. Why?
because Arjuna is being shown that.
Yeah, so there you'll refine the answer. Because we are talking about Saguna Brahman. Arjuna is seeing Virat Ishvara. That is Saguna Brahman. And therefore, Saguna Brahman is not Apramayam. Saguna Brahman can be available as an object. And is not Nirguna Brahman. Therefore, here, Apramayam has to be taken as that which cannot be measured at all. means in the meaning of infinite. It is available as an object, but you cannot measure it because it is too big for your measurement standards. Okay, verse number 18. Tvamaksharam paramam veditavyam.
Tvamaksharam paramam veditavyam.
Tvamasya vishwasya param nidhanam.
Tamasya vishwasya param nidhanam.
Tamavyaya shashvatama dharma gupta.
Tamavyaya shashvata dharma gupta.
Sanatanastvam purusho mato me.
Sanatanastvam purusho mato me.
It's one of the most important mantras, slokas, because it defines both Saguna Brahman as well as Nirguna Brahman. So in the first half of the sloka, Nirguna Brahman has been described. In the second half of the sloka, Saguna Ishvara is being described. Saguna Brahman is being described. How it's both possible? Because from the Vyavaharika angle, it is Saguna Ishvara. But from Paramarthika angle, it is Nirguna Ishvara. Like when you go to a jeweler shop, you can say this is the bangle, and that is the Vyavarika Drishti. Or you can say this is gold, that is the Paramarthika Drishti. Right? Or you think of you go to the beach. When you dive into the water, one person can say, I'm touching the wave. Another person can say, I'm touching the ocean. And the third person can say, I am touching only water. Right? Therefore, he says, Tvam Paramam Tvam Aksharam Asi. You are the imperishable from the standpoint of both. Saguna Ishvara is also eternal. Nirguna Ishvara is also eternal. Saguna Ishvara is also eternal. How? Because it can never be destroyed. When it is manifest, it is Vyakta Saguna Ishvara. When it's unmanifest, Avyakta Saguna Ishvara. Therefore, Vishwarupa Ishvara is Nityam, is eternal. And of course, Nirguna Brahman is also eternal. So he says, Veditavyam. You have to compulsorily know both Saguna Brahman and Nirguna Brahman. And Shankaracharya adds, who has to know? Mumukshubhihi. Only those who are seekers of moksha, they need to know both Saguna and Nirguna Brahman. Tvamasya Vishwasya Param Nidhanam. Nidhanam means that into which everything resolves. Right? Therefore, the substratum of the entire creation, the Vivarta Upadana Karanam, that is Brahman. Paramam denotes the ultimate, not just the Adhishthanam, the ultimate Adhishthanam. So there are two things here. One is a relative support, Apekshika Adhishthanam. One is ultimate support, Atyantika Adhisthana. Like, for example, when you, let us say, keep a dish on your table, there are two supports. The table becomes the relative support for the book, but the ground is the supporter of the table itself. Therefore, the Paramam support, Atyantika support is the ground. Right? Now, how is it relevant here? According to Vedanta, what is the first element to emerge?
Akasha.
And therefore, Akasha supports all the entire world. But Akasha itself is supported by the consciousness principle, Atma. And therefore, Paramam Nidhanam means Atma Brahman. So this is the first part. It talks about Nirguneshwar. Now Arjuna says, Tvam Avyayaha. You are unchangeable and unaffected by time. So Avyayaha here means unchangeable from the Vyavaharika angle. Right? We must remember that not only is Brahman eternal, Maya is also eternal. Right? From the Vyavaharika angle, Maya cannot be negated. Maya is not mithya from the angle of the Vyavaharika prapancha. From the angle of the universe, you cannot say Maya is mithya. You can say Maya is mithya only by saying that Maya is not paramarthika satyam, is not the absolute reality. The relative reality of Maya can never be negated. The absolute reality of Maya can be negated. And therefore, universe is always eternal, either during pralayam as unmanifest or during creation as manifest. The individual bodies, remember, are not eternal. They will all merge into Panchabhutas. Right? And Panchabhutas are merging into Maya. Maya is part of Sagunaishvara. Okay. And now a question can come up here. Has Arjuna got Jivan Mukti? No.
No.
Because he does not know Nirguna Brahman, because so much of the Gita is left. But he is just rattling out. Then how is he talking about Nirguna Brahman? He is just repeating what he has heard from his guru in the scriptures. Shravanam has happened. He is just repeating that. But he has not got the conviction that Atma he is. So this is Paroksha Jnanam, not Aparoksha Jnanam. So he has not got moksha. Then Shashvata Dharma Gopta. So he is the Saguna Ishvara is the keeper of the Dharma, Nitya Dharma. Nitya Dharma is what? In respect of the universe, the Dharma is that creation, maintenance, destruction, creation, maintenance, destruction. That is governed by Ishvara, Saguna Ishvara. Right? And that all the physical laws, remember, are created by Ishvara. We may have discovered the law of gravity, but we have not created that. Since you have not created that, you cannot maintain that also. You cannot destroy that also. The creator alone has to be the maintainer. Therefore, Gopta means the one who maintains. Right? So the laws of the universe are natural laws. And generally, if human beings do not interfere, the universe will function in harmony. But what do? We pollute the ground, we destroy forests, we pollute the ocean, we make ozone layers in the atmosphere. Therefore, it is mankind who violates the harmony. Bhagavan always maintains, right? And as he said in chapter 2, Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya dushkratam. Whenever there is a threat to the universe, a threat to the natural harmony, Bhagavan has to come to eliminate. Right? It's like a disease. Your health is normal, health is natural. But when germs come, then there's a disease. That's why in Sanskrit, health is called swastaha. Swasmin swarupe tishtati. One who is in his natural state, he is healthy. And therefore, this Ishvara is Shashvat Dharma Goptaha, one who maintains the natural order of the universe. Goptaha, the maintainer. Sanatanaha, he is always there. And Tvam Sanatana Purushaha iti me mataha. You are the all-pervading form. You are the universal form. Because everything is seen only as the body of the Lord. Very nice descriptions. Now, verse number 19. Anadimadhyantamanantaviryam
अनादिमध्यान्तमनन्तवीर्यम्
Antabahum Shashisuryanetram
अनन्तबाहुं शशिसूर्यनेत्रम्
Pashyami Tvam Diptahutasavaktram
पश्यामि त्वां दीप्तहुताशवक्त्रम्
Tejasa Vishwamidam Tapantam
स्वतेजसा विश्वमिदं तपन्तम्
Anadhi Madhyantam. Okay, Anadi Madhyantam Anantam. You have to take them together. What do they mean?
Without beginning.
No beginning, no end, no middle.
Without beginning, without end, without middle. So there's a story of SPG tells a story of a Sanskrit poet. You know, that SPG says that this poet was a brilliant poet, but he was extremely poor because poetry doesn't pay, right? And therefore he has torn clothes. Yes, his clothes don't have any shape in them. They're all torn clothes. And therefore he writes a poem. He says, my clothes are like Vishwarupa Ishvara. You know, you cannot make out the beginning or the end or the middle of the clothes. So that is Sanskrit poet. So Anadi Madhyantam Ananta Viryam. Viryam here means power. Ananta Viryam means limitless power. Right? Why limitless power? Because you have to create this infinite universe. Therefore, he has limitless power. Ananta Bahuhu, endless, infinite number of hands and legs. Shashi Surya Netram. The eyes of the Ishvara are sun and the moon. Netram is the eyes. Shashi and Surya are the eyes. So in the daytime, you have the light of the sun, and in the nighttime, you have the light of the moon. Both are his eyes. But if you remember Tattva Bodha, the sun is the presiding deity of the eye. Therefore, sun becomes the eye of the Lord. And Dipta Hutasha Vaktram. So the Dipta Hutasha Vaktram. Hutasha is one who eats an offering, right? Therefore, the one who eats Dipta Huta, the all-consuming Agni, is the mouth of the Lord. Who eats everything? Agni eats everything. Therefore, Agni Devata is the mouth of the Lord. That is meant by Dipta Hutasha Vaktram. That Agni Dipta is the mouth of the Lord. And we have seen this in Tattva Bodha also. Vacho Devata Vannihi. The presiding deity of the Vagindriyam is Agni Devata. Therefore, Agni Devata is the mouth of the Lord. Another reason is in any yajna, you say swaha when you give an offering, right? The mouth swallows everything. Whatever is put in the mouth just disappears. Therefore, hutashaha. Hutam ashnati, the one who eats the hutam, the offering, is hutashaha. Therefore, Agni is the mouth of the Lord. Dipta means fire, well kindled. And therefore, this, hey Krishna, I am seeing the Virat Rupa Ishvara. His mouth is open, ready to swallow whatever comes. And not only that, Swatejasa Vishwam Idam Tapantam. With your own heat, it is burning up the entire earth. And therefore, Arjuna is feeling the heat, right? And if you want to feel this, of course, now it is August, but you step out in Delhi in the middle of May, and then when you feel that heat, you should not complain. You should say, what? I am experiencing Vishwarupa Ishvara. Okay. Verse number 20. Dhyava prithivyordhamantaram hi
या वा पृथिव्योरिदमन्तरं हि
vyaptam tvaikena dishascha sarvaha
व्याप्तं त्वयैकेन दिशश्च सर्वाः
dristvadbhutam रूपमुग्रं तवेदम्
दृष्ट्वाद्भुतं रूपमुग्रं तवेदम्
लोकत्रयं प्रव्यथितं महात्मन्
लोकत्रयं प्रव्यथितं महात्मन्
So dhyava pritivyoho idam antaram hi. That's the breakup. Dhyava pritivyoho idam antaram hi. The intermediate space between the earth and the heavens, which you call antariksham, vyaptam, that whole intermediate space between the earth and the heavens, swarga, it's pervaded by you. So another way of saying that the entire universe is your body only. Ekena, there is nothing else. There is no second thing. It is totally pervaded by you alone. And sarvaha dishaha, all the 10 directions are there, are pervaded by a body. So north, south, east, west, and all the subsidiary 6 directions, they are all pervaded by you only. Idam adbhutam rupam drishtva. I am seeing this absolutely wonderful form of yours. It was there earlier, but I could not see it because I was looking at it as from my Ragadvesha angle. From Jivasrishti angle, remember, the world is always divided along Ragadvesha lines. And whenever you have likes and dislikes, something you like, something you don't like, something becomes a threat also. But now he says, Hey Krishna, because you have given me Divya Drishti, my Ragadvesha has been stripped away. Therefore, I am not seeing Jiva Srishti, I am seeing Ishvara Srishti. And this vision, why is it being presented to us? Because this vision of Virat Ishvara, this Saguna Ishvara Darshanam, remember, it is necessary for us to have. Without understanding Saguna Ishvara, you can never come to Aham Brahmasmi. Therefore, Aham Brahmasmi will work only if you have understood that the whole universe is Ishvara only. Right? You cannot come to Aham Brahmasmi and say Saguna Ishvara does not exist. You cannot deny the world at all. So one has to accept the world and all its problems, including your own birth and death, as an integral part of creation. Accommodate everything. Accommodate crime, accommodate goodness, accommodate love, accommodate hate, everything has to be accommodated. Without accommodating everything as a very intrinsic part of life, intrinsic part of the universe, I will never be able to come and say Aham Brahma Asmi. And therefore, Adbhutam, great wonder. Right? But not only that, wonder is what? He is the creator. He is a wonderful sustaining principle also. The creation and maintenance principle of the Lord, we all admire. But then he says, Ugram. Ugram is terrible, frightening. Why? Because he is the Layakara. He is the cause for destruction also. That destruction is represented by that fiery mouth. And he says, Lokatrayam Pravyathitam. The whole world is frightened of death and destruction. All the 3 worlds are frightened of this destruction. All the 3 lokas, devas, asuras, manushyas, pakshis, insects, animals, everybody has a instinctive fear of death. So these 2 words are very important. Adbhutam and Ugram. Adbhutam indicates the wonderful things in the universe, indicates all your holidays, all your tours, all your world tours, all the good things in your life is Adbhutam. Ugram indicates the time you spend in the ICU. So Udbhutam, Ugram, pleasure and pain are both part of your life. Better to accept them gracefully. Mahatmanaha, Hey Vishwarupa Ishvara. Right? And how can Vishwarupa Ishvara be frightening? Because this is Arjuna's problem. When you see Vishwarupa Ishvara as different from yourself, then only fear can arise. When you see yourself as Vishwarupa Ishvara, where is the question of fear? And Shankaracharya here in his commentary reminds us that Arjuna in chapter 2, he said, Yadva Jayema Vano Jayayuhu. Hey Krishna, I do not know which is better, victory or defeat. And Shankara says that here Krishna is indirectly answering that question of Arjuna's by presenting Arjuna with a view on the way the battle will progress, the way it will end. Pandavas are going to be victorious. That is what he is seeing in the vision. This is, of course, an indirect answer to Arjuna's question. Okay. Any questions so far? So we have one more verse we can do, then we'll stop. Verse number 21. Amihi tvam surasangha vishanti
Amihi tvam surasangha vishanti.
Chidbhitav pranjalayo grananti
Kechid bhitah pranjalayo grinanti.
Swastit yuktva amarshi siddha sangaha
Swastit tva maharshi siddha sanghaha.
Tuvanti tvam sutibhih pushkalabhi.
Stuvanti tvam stutibhih pushkalabhi.
So, Amihi, the soldiers on both the sides of the armies, Surasangaha, as well as all the groups of gods which I am seeing, what is happening to them? Vam Vishanti. They are all entering you, they are all dying. Okay. Right. So, Shankara in his commentary gives a very nice comment here. Why does he say Sangha, Sura Sangha, gathering of gods? So here Shankara says that many of the warriors in the Pandava and the Kaurava army, they are actually some avatars of some god or the other. And since they are dying, here Arjuna says that the gods are dying. For example, Bhishma is a Amsha, right? Is a part of what?
Vasu, one of
Vayu,
Ashtavasas.
Vayuputra, right? His father was the wind god. Dharmaraja is Dharma Devata Amshaha. He is part of the Dharma Devata,
Yama.
Yama. So all devatas have taken Manusha Rupam as warriors in this war. And therefore you have to understand that the Lord's act of destruction in this war, wherever there is predominance of adharma, destruction is only remedy. And that is why he said, Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata. Right? So we must remember that maturity is required to face death and destruction. And that the one who is mature, when they face their death, they will only pray. Right? Of course, there is another way of understanding Suraha. Suraha can mean one who does not have the asuric nature. So, Dharmika Purusha. Anyway, you take it. What he's saying is all these people are approaching you with prayer. Kechit bhitaha. Some people approach you because they are afraid. But the wise people approach you with prayers. Ultimately, both the ignorant and the non-ignorant people, they are approaching the Lord. One out of fear, one out of wisdom. Right? One of the most dangerous things we can do when talking about the Lord is we often tell our children, Bhagavan will punish you if you don't do this. So that we should never do, because you are teaching them to reject the image of the Lord as one who always punishes. That should never happen. If at all possible, you have to present the Lord as a entity with the good of everybody at heart. And therefore, Pranjalayo Grananti, he approaches with folded hands. Both the Jnanis and the Ajnanis, they approach the Lord with folded hands. Maharshi Siddha Sangaha. Maharshis are there, Vaidikas are there, Yogis are there, all of them approach you. They are dying. They're going to, at the moment is for death. And therefore, they are coming, but they are saying, Swasti iti uktva. They say, Bhadram Karnebihi, Mangalam Astu. They are asking for auspiciousness. And the question then is, how can you ask for auspiciousness on this battlefield? Because it is a dharmic war. The destruction of inauspiciousness, amangalam, is being asked for. And the protection of the good is being asked for. Therefore, Sthurmanti Tvam Stutibihi, these Maharishis and Siddhas, they Tuvanti, they praise you. How? With stutis, with hymns, with stotrams. And pushkalabihi. These are all complete and comprehensive prayers. The prayers which talk about the glories of the Lord. So with this, we'll stop for today. Any questions?
Acharya,
Yeah.
the question is not about this verse particularly, but we just did a lot of these beautiful verses on meditating on Vishwarupa Ishvara.
Yeah.
So if the sadhaka is in the stage of doing nididhyasana to realize myself as Brahman, can you still use these verses to meditate on
Yes.
Ishvara?
Because, see, in Brahma Satyam Jagat Mithya, even though the Brahma Satyam comes first in the statement, it is Jagat Mithya which has to be first understood. Without the conviction that Jagat is Mithya, you will never be able to dismiss it. Without dismissing Jagat, you will never be able to claim yourself as Brahman. And therefore, the most important step in our journey is accepting that Jagat is Mithya. Once we understand Jagat is Mithya, then only can I dismiss Jagat. While living in this Jagat, I have to dismiss Jagat, right? While living in Vyavaharika, I have to say that Vyavaharika is Mithya. For that, once the Mithyatvam is understood, then I can go back and say, okay, I am the substratum of the entire Mithya universe.
So practically, could you do this in the same meditation sitting where
Ideally, we should do Jagat Mithya separately. In fact, first take all your relationships, all your transactions, meditate how they are actually not you. They are dependent upon you, but they are not you. In doing that itself, see, there are only two things, Anatma and Atma. When you dismiss Anatma, what is left is only Atma. That is the Brahma Satyam status.
so you could arrive at it in the same
One session, you
yeah.
could take it one session also.
Yeah.
No reason why you can't. But ideally, I would say do Jagat Mithya for quite some time. Once you are convinced, then there is nothing to do because already, if you have dismissed Jagat, only whatever is left, Sheshaha, is only you.
Thank you.
Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnam Eva Vashishyate Om Shanti 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 Om Tat Sat Om Namah Shivaya. Thank you. Om.
Thank you so much.